Hi friends, today I have a lower body HIIT workout for you. If you're unfamiliar with HIIT workouts, HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. All the exercises we're doing today are body weight, so you don't need any equipment. That being said, if you want a bit of a challenge, you can use a resistance band loop for the first 2 exercises. If you're going to do that, I'll have you just position it a few inches above your knees. We're going to use an interval structure of 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. I'm going to give you an exercise and you're going to stay on that same exercises for 3 rounds using that interval structure. So it'll be exercise A for 30 seconds, rest 10 seconds. Repeat exercise A for another 30 seconds, rest 10 seconds. Do it a 3rd time, then you rest 30 seconds, and then we move on to the next exercise. So that was a complicated way of saying you're going to do 3 rounds of each exercise before moving on. At the end of the workout, we'll kind of have a grand finale round where we'll go through all the exercises again, just staying on each one for 1 interval, so we'll kind of move through it like a circuit. If that's confusing, don't worry. As always, I'm going to give you a preview of the exercises before we get going. During that preview, I'm also going to show you how to modify each move. So there's a bunch of jumping around in this workout, but if you're working with knee injuries or you just have downstairs neighbors or otherwise don't want to jump around, the modifications are going to show you options that don't involve jumping so that it's a slightly less impactful workout. As with all workouts, you want to make sure you're properly warmed up beforehand and always listen to your body, modifying or stopping as needed. I have a 5-minute warm-up on my channel, or you could do your own at home. I don't play music in the background of my workout videos because I want you to be able to listen to whatever music you like. So if you don't have a playlist queued up, you might want to get that going. And if you're all set and squared away, I'm going to show you the preview of the exercises and then we'll get going. We have a popcorn squat, which is kind of like a squat jack, except you don't have to stay quite as low. If you want to use a resistance band for this one, place it a few inches above your knees. It is optional. All right, 30 seconds, let's go. So when your feet are wide, you reach down. I want you to bring one hand to the floor. If getting that low isn't happening, then don't worry about actually touching the ground. The main purpose of this is just to sit really low in that squat, weights in your heel, butt and hips slide down and back. And we want to keep the pace going as quickly as possible without sacrificing proper form. Let's get that heart rate up. Got a few more seconds here. Remember, we're doing 3 rounds of this before we do a different exercise. Okay, you have 10 seconds to rest, and then we do that exact same thing. If you're using the resistance band and it gets to be too much, just ditch that sucker. Now, if you're reaching down to the ground, I don't want you to hunch forward. So I want you to think about keeping your chest broad and lifted. Think long spine. You're reaching the top of your head and your tailbone long. Yes, you are hinging forward through the torso, but you're not rounding through the spine and hunching forward. 10 seconds to go. Keep it up. Can you pick up the pace at all? Just a little bit. Push, push, push. You're almost there. Shake it out. You got 10 seconds here. So we're going to do this one more time, and then we'll move on to another exercise. And take off. 30 seconds on the clock. Make this your best interval yet. If you need to modify and instead of hopping, switch to that step side to side like I demoed at the start of this video, absolutely go for that. I want you to stay active the whole 30 seconds though, okay? So you can modify, you can dial down the intensity, but do not stop. You have just about 10 seconds on the clock. If you have anything left to give, I want you to dial up the pace just a little bit. Let's go.
Okay, you have 30 seconds to rest here, and we are going to move on to the next exercise. You might want to have a mat handy for this one because we are going to be down in a bear plank position. A bear plank is like a plank, but your knees are bent at 90 degrees, hovering off the floor a couple inches. This is another one. You can use the resistance band loop if you want a bit of a challenge. Keep it in the same location, a couple inches above your knees. It is optional. You can totally do this just body weight. So it's going to be a jack, feet wide and narrow in this bear plank, and then a donkey kick. So hop them wide, hop them in, and then kick your bum with your heels. So this one is going to hit your quads, but at the start, you might feel it more in your shoulders than your legs. Don't worry, you're going to feel that burn. Trust me, in this one, by the last 2 sets of this, I am dying. You will see, just wait. 10 more seconds here. If you need to pause, try to pause actively with your knees still hovering instead of dropping them to the floor, as you see I do. Okay, rest. Take advantage of the rest. This one, in my opinion, is the hardest of the exercises. Start making your way back into that hovering bear plank position, and let's go. Feet wide, narrow, kick yourself in the tush. Your modification, remember, you are just stepping the feet wide and narrow in that bear plank position. The goal, whether you're modifying or doing the full thing, is to keep those knees hovering for as much of the 30 seconds as you can. So you'll notice my pace has slowed down a lot. Oh, I had to drop my knees there. I'm dying, guys. But if you can, just pause with the knees hovering. Last couple seconds. We can do this. And rest. You can tell by my facial expression I am mad at myself for including this exercise. It's a toughie. All right, one more round. We can do this. 30 seconds on the clock. Feet wide, narrow, donkey kick. Land softly. So don't worry so much about pace. Yes, the quicker you go, the harder it'll be. But I care more about you staying active for as much of the 30 seconds as you can, which clearly I'm struggling with. In, out, donkey kick. Just a few more seconds to go. You can do it. Hang on to it. Oh, and rest. 30 seconds here. A well-earned 30 seconds. So if you're using the resistance band loop, you are going to ditch it for the remaining 3 exercises. You don't want that loop on. We're going to just do body weight. So we are going to start with in a low lunge position. We're going to do 2 knee drives, and then we're going to go into a deadlift kick, which is almost like coming into a half split. Now, very important, guys, if you have tight hamstrings or bringing your hands to the floor isn't feeling okay, I don't want you to do the full kick. So instead of bringing your hands to the ground like I just did, keep your hands lifted and just kick that back leg up a couple inches, all right? If you're not properly warmed up, if you're working with tight hamstrings, I just don't want you to do the full kick with your hands all the way down to the ground. Another way to explain what I'm talking about is instead of going into that sort of standing split, just go into a warrior 3. A few more seconds here. And shake it out. So we stay on the same leg all 3 rounds, okay? So we're going to do that exact same leg again. Now, in the low lunge, reach your arms overhead, knit your ribs together. I want you to stay long through the spine. And notice I'm keeping a big pitch forward with my torso during those knee drives. That's going to keep the weight forward in the front target leg, and it's going to help you stay light on that back foot. Again, you can use a chair or just opt not to bring your hands all the way down to the floor if this is not feeling right to you. Notice when I do that kick, I'm not locking out through my front leg. So that front knee is always softly bent. Shake it out. We're going to do that same leg one more time. Knee stacked over heel, hinge forward with the torso, reach those arms long, knit your ribs together, and let's go. 2 knee drives, 1 kick. 2 knee drives, hands come to the floor, you hinge, kicking that back leg up, or just keep your hands lifted and just give me a little baby kick with that back leg, okay? Try to keep your hips square to the floor, soft bend in that front knee the whole time. And shake it out. Okay, we're going to do that exact same thing just on the other leg. So 30 seconds to rest here, and then we repeat that other leg. When you do the kick and bring your hands to the floor, if you find that you're really hunching through the back and you can't keep your spine straight, don't come all the way down to the ground, okay? Maybe you bring your hands to a chair, maybe yoga blocks, maybe you just keep them lifted and just do a little kick through that back leg. I do want you to try to get that back leg off the ground, though, after the 2 knee drives, because that is part of the challenge for the hamstring on the front leg. Another way to slightly modify this would be to do it with your hands at heart center in like a prayer position rather than having those arms reaching overhead. Keeping the biceps by the ears and the arms overhead is adding to the challenge because it's taking the weight of your arms and it's pitching it out over that front leg. Couple more seconds. Shake it out. You have 10 seconds to rest here. We're doing that 2 more times, same leg. Find that low lunge position, big lean forward with the torso, 2 knee drives, and deadlift kick. When you bring your hands to the floor, it's going to help you balance, but I don't want you to shift a ton of weight into your hands, okay? So maybe just bring your fingertips to the ground. Try to keep it kind of light. Shake it out. You have 10 seconds here. Okay, one more time through this. Same leg. Square your hips, hinge forward, long through the spine, arms overhead if you can. Now, if you have tight shoulders, it can be hard to keep those arms all the way overhead and really keep the biceps in line with the ears. I want you to think of sliding the shoulder blades together and down your spine slightly so that we're not scrunching the shoulders up towards our ears. In other words, think about relaxing your neck as best you can. You have 10 seconds to go. Stay with it. We're almost done with this exercise. Whoop, lost my balance there. Okay, 30 seconds to shake it out. We have one more exercise to get through, and then we go into that grand finale circuit round. So the final exercise, you're going to find a sumo squat position, and it's just going to be a little hop. Your modification would be to pulse instead of hop. So let's start making our way into that wide sumo squat position. So your toes are angled out slightly, and the most important piece of this, your knees need to point in the same direction as your toes. All right, let's go. Little hops. So you barely have to get off the ground for these, okay? Your legs are never straightening all the way. You stay pretty low and it's just a little hop. Now in this, I want you to think of spiraling the thighs open and squeezing your bum, okay? You have to stay active through the glutes in order to keep those hips open and the knees tracking in line with the toes. Under 10 seconds to go. Keep it going. Shake it out, 10 seconds to rest. Now, if you have tight hips or are internally rotated and you're having a really hard time keeping the knees pointing in the same direction as the toes, then your toes are pointing too wide, okay? Just bring them in a little narrower so that you can keep that alignment. You get into trouble with the knees when they are pointing in a different direction from your toes. That's when you feel strain. You got it. Just over 10 seconds to go here. Little hop, little hop. If you need to modify and just pulse, do that, but try to stay active and stay low. 10 seconds. Shake it out. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. With our feet wide like this, you're staying pretty upright through the torso. If you have tight hips, you're going to need to add a little lean forward through the torso for sure, but it's not like a regular squat with our toes pointing forward where we really hinge forward and send the butt back. Instead, it's almost shoulders stacked over hips to the best of your joint mobility. All right, you got it. Last 10 seconds. Push. Can you pick up the pace at all? Let's go. Shake it out. Okay, you have 30 seconds to recover. So we are going into our sort of grand finale. What we're going to do is we're going to take all 5 of those exercises and we're going to do them back to back in a circuit. So instead of staying on each one for 3 rounds, you just do one 30-second interval of each one. We're going to start from the top. Don't use the resistance band on this one because it's just going to make transitions easier, okay? So let's do this whole thing body weight. No resistance band. Those popcorn squats are up first at the beeps. You know the drill. Feet wide, bring your hand to the floor, hop back up and wide again. Let's go. And alternate which hand you're bringing to the ground. And again, if reaching your hand all the way to the floor isn't happening, no big deal, okay? The main goal is just get low in these. Your modification, you would just step low into a squat, alternating side to side. You're at that halfway point. And rest. Okay, we're going to make our way down to the floor into that bear plank position. It's going to be that bear plank jack into the donkey kick. My least favorite. Let's do it. 30 seconds. Feet wide, feet in. Kick your bum with your heels. You're going to feel your quads working, the tops of the thighs. Shoulders also get a nice burn in this one as well. And your core is active. So this is a great one because it really is a full body exercise. Focus for us today, of course, being those quads. You can do it. You have 10 seconds to go. That is it. Don't drop your knees, okay? We can do this. It's a couple seconds. You got this. And shake it out. Okay, we're going to do those 2 knee drives to that deadlift kick. Doesn't matter which leg you start on. Stay on that leg the whole 30 seconds, though. Big hinge forward with the torso, shifting the weight over that front leg, little kick, and again, don't bring your hands all the way to the floor if you have tight hamstrings or this is not feeling okay, all right? Don't want you to pull anything. Always working within a safe range of motion for yourself. Few more seconds, stay with it. Ten seconds to rest. Okay, we're going to do that same thing on the other leg. So just switch sides. Other foot forward. Big hinge forward with the torso. Exaggerate it. 2 knee drives. Hinge forward, kick. Remember, we're not hunching through the torso when we do that hinge. So think about keeping your chest open, spine long. Notice I'm not rounding through the shoulders. Does not matter how high you get that back leg in the kick. Keep a soft bend to the front knee. Shake it out. Okay, one more exercise to go. We're entering our final 30 seconds of this workout. Sumo squat hops, wide stance, toes angled out, heels in, toes out, knees tracking in line with those middle toes, and little hop, little hop. You don't have to get a ton of air. I want you to stay low though. And if you need to take out the hop and just pulse, that is always an option. You are thinking of spiraling the thighs open. Squeeze your seat, okay? Glutes are active here. That's gonna help keep the knees pointing in the direction we need them. Let's pick up the pace, guys. We're in our last 10 seconds. Hop, hop. Stay on pace with me. Challenge yourself. Hop, hop. You're almost there. Last few seconds. Awesome work. That is your lower body workout.
Hope you enjoyed that workout. If you did, you know the drill. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new workouts here every Monday. I'll see you guys next week.